Southport victim born to be a star, parents tell BBC, by Sarah Campbell and George Sanderman. Right then, ladies and gents, I apologise in advance for today's video because this isn't going to be my usual highbrow perusal of the day's news. No, this is going to be, well, nothing more than fuel for a rage boner. That's it. It's not going to be clever. It's going to be a rant. Because I started the morning by reading this story in full because I like to stoke the coals. There's nothing I enjoy more than a feeling of burning resentment, rage and hatred for the people that run Europe as a whole and the UK in particular. I'm only happy when I'm angry because I'm an angry bootneck, and I really hope I can pump the bellows in your own heart and at least elicit some modicum of the seething fury and contempt and disgust that I have for the leaders of the United Kingdom. And I am perplexed as to why the BBC even write these stories. Are these brain-dead, sparrow-boned do-gooders actually labouring under the delusion that someone's going to read this story in full and at the end of it go, it warms your cockles, doesn't it? What planet are they on? These are the type of people who think that their grandkids could get rogered like a copper's radio above a greasy kebab shop in Rotherham or Newcastle or Middlesbrough or Leeds or Southport or any of the other dozens of places it's happened in. These are the type of people who think that can happen to your grandkids. But then you'll come home a little bit angry and you'll read your live, laugh, love sign in the kitchen and you'll go, all is well with the world. I'm sure they didn't mean anything by it. No, we don't. We don't do that, BBC. We see the pictures of little girls whose lives were ended prematurely by imported murderers that people like Philip Rutland, half a dozen Home Secretaries and every Prime Minister since Tony Blair did nothing about and didn't vet and didn't care, didn't bother themselves to do any of the due diligence because they couldn't give a single shit about you or your wives or your children. And we read these stories and we see these pictures and they don't warm our cockles. No. I get to the bottom of a story like this and I'm one bad day away from becoming the world's first secular suicide bomber. Right? A few more stories like this and I'd be a trendsetter. I'd run into one of those big golden bell end churches on a Friday, dressed in a full England strip, singing Three Lions on a shirt, jewellery may still gleaming, and then blow myself to bits. just to make a point, just for a laugh. I definitely don't think I'm going to get any virgins out of the deal. But some part of my brain at the height of a titanic fury just thinks, well, striking out in impotent rage at least might level the playing fields in some way. So anyway, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to read you this story because we can all get angry together. And then I'm going to show you some tweets by people like David Lamtron, the sweaty, self-loathing minister who talks all day long about how he's actually Caribbean and he thinks all of his people who are obviously not yours if he's telling you that he wants reparations. And he's saying that they're demanding money off you because your great-great-great-great-granddad might have annoyed somebody once, right? And these people with a straight face and with the neck of 10,000 giraffes go out in public and tell people like me, as somewhere from the same town 20 generations of my ancestors came from, who fought for my country 5 times, and call people like me and thee not patriotic, plastic patriots. The same self-loathing people who drag us down and criticise us and slander us and our country and our flag every single day of the week, then have the brass neck to go on social media and say, I'm a patriot. It's every pot in the universe calling all the kettles black, right? It's Colonel Sanders telling you he's a vegan. It's Diane Abbott telling you she's on a diet. And it's Elton John telling you he's a virgin. Yeah, never been near a cock once. It's unbelievable, it's upside down, and I'm going to talk about it now. But strap yourselves in, there's a little bit less humour in this one, because I don't think this is a laughing matter. Do you? Okay, Southport victim was born to be a star. Tragically, never going to happen because we insist on importing poorly vetted Rwandans. But let's get down to business, shall we? The parents of one of the girls killed at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class in Southport last year have told the BBC their daughter was born to be a star. Alice Aguiar, who was 9 when she died, began dancing when she was 16 months old, and her parents are fundraising for a new playground, which will include a stage and will do absolutely nothing to bring her back. Nothing. Her mother said the stage would be her favourite part. The school was the place where she spent most of her time and she was really happy here, said Alex. She loved it. For us, it's really important to make this project happen. She would be happy, I'm sure. She's proud of us. Elsie Stancombe, 7, BB King, 6, were also killed in the attack carried out by random foreign stranger who was last month jailed for a minimum of 52 years. And he'll do less than half, so he'll probably be about 38 when they let him out. And maybe he can go back to the park, the nice brand new designed park, and do it again. Because the British government won't do what they should do, which is close the borders, reinstitute capital punishment, and then put 80,000 volts through his knackersack. And there's a picture of a loving life. Alan Bowen, who was Alice's favourite teacher, said her beaming smile was her in a nutshell. I'm sure it was. Are you angry yet? Because you should be. That picture just about burst a blood vessel. Right, and now I've wound you up a little bit, let's go and look at a few tweets just from today by some of the oxygen thieves that run the United Kingdom into the ground. Ed Davey. There's a rumour that Nigel Farage is keeping his head down because he's off to a Trump cheerleading conference. I'm afraid I'm being proved right. Farage is far more interested in Trump's success than British security. He's a bootlicker and a plastic patriot. Now there's a lot to unpack there, isn't there? The man who helped, he basically may as well have packed Axel Rudu Kanubu's packed lunch for him. People like Ed Davey, right, are lecturing people like you about being disinterested in British security. People like you that have been demanding border control for 20 years. Again, this isn't controversial. This was one of the pillars of the Conservative Party's manifesto 13 years ago, and it was topping the opinion polls when Blair was still in charge. Immigration, fix it. The British public has been anti-mass immigration for 20 years, and people like Ed Davey caused the Manchester bombing, Borough Market, London Bridge. They caused it because they were all for opening the borders for the last 20 years. When Salman Abedi scattered a load of women and kids across the Manchester Evening News arena, it was because of people like Ed Davey. And he'll sit there with a straight face and say he's more interested in British security than you are. As I said, it's upside down. It's the morbidly obese Belgian health minister telling Kate Moss she should lay off the Tic Tacs because they can be fattening, don't you know? And here's Zara Sultana addressing yet another bunch of people and not a single English or British or Scottish or Irish or Welsh or European flag amongst them, telling them that they're the proud patriots and they care about Britain and you don't. To say that Zara Sultana has the IQ of a pork pie is an insult to a pork pie. If I put a crossword puzzle down in front of a random meat product and that MP, I guarantee the meal would finish it quicker. And David Lammy, who accuses you of not being patriotic enough. Well, let's have a scroll through his page. The pinned comment says, "We must not forget Sudan." Yeah, you know, when I think of the term British patriot, the first thing I think of is Sudan. Yeah, all British patriots love Sudan. Of course they do. And all vegan activists brush the teeth with dog toothpaste because they love the taste of bacon. His next tweet is by the Foreign Commonwealth Office, and it says, "Yeah, let's go and hang out in Africa. South Africa's brilliant. And you know what the real problems are in England? AIDS, TB and malaria." Has anyone ever caught malaria strolling down a beach in South Shields? Anyone? Were people ravaged by malaria walking across the sands of Whitby in winter in Victorian England? I feel like malaria isn't really that much of a British problem, but what do I know? I'm shit at geography. Next tweet, the African Union stands for peace and prosperity. Next tweet, the advance of M23 in the Rwandan Defence Force is a violation of DRC's sovereignty. Next tweet, here in Munich, Europe, Ukraine. Next tweet, Russia, Ukraine. Next tweet, Munich. You get the point has been made, I'm sure. Our leaders hate their own country. That's what happens when you're a globalist. You spend so much time flying around the world in private jets, you're an anywhere. You don't care about the somewhere that your constituents do care about themselves. They are, to use a quite archaic term at this point, traitors. If people like David Lammy said things like that a couple of 100 years ago, they would be getting guillotined. And the cherry on top is the hypocrisy. Because as they flag wave for every nation other than the one you were born in, they call people like me, with genuine ties to my hometown and my nation that go back generations, and every single one of my best friends and family members still living within 10 miles of where they were born. The people who put the flags on the houses, the ones that Emily Thornton mocked and bullied and laughed at. The people that Anna Soubry slurred and had arrested because they wanted sovereignty for the English people. They call people like that plastic patriots. It's almost funny if it wasn't so tragic. Alright, so we'll call it there, rant over. I'm very, 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 very angry, and I suggest you should be too. Not too angry, because in England, they will arrest you if you criticise David Lammy. He can call you all the names under the sun. Anna Soubry. Anna Soubry's a good example. Anna Soubry called you and your kids and your grandparents and your mum and dad and everyone you know who voted for Brexit. She called you every slur under the sun, including November Alpha Zulu India, hundreds of times. And then when James Goddard and a load of his mates started a chant calling her the exact same thing just once, she had a half dozen of them arrested and sent to prison. So that's the country you're living in. Don't get too angry or you might get in trouble, because anger is banned in England. But at least send a mildly angry letter or email to your local representatives and tell them they're a joke, they are assisting the enemies of our nation, and they may as well have helped Salman Abedi pack his backpack. Alright, that's me for the day. Let me know if you agree in the comments. If you don't, Owen, I'm not interested. Stop writing to me, alright? I know nobody buys The Guardian anymore, but you'd be better off spending your time writing whatever pointless fluff pieces you do for that detestable, lamentable rag instead of sending me love letters every day, alright? Thanks for tuning in, everyone. See you all tomorrow. Toodle pip. Cheers.